We just got a very exciting delivery today. We got mulch, lots of mulch, 7 yards of mulch, and 3 yards of dirt to fill our garden beds that we built. We've got 4 garden beds to fill. 3 of them are prepared to be filled, and 1 of them is not. So I'm probably going to fill the 3 today, and then start working on the 4th one to get it ready for dirt. And hopefully we have enough dirt. I don't know if 3 yards is enough, but we'll find out. This spring, I was able to visit the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston and attend their exhibition called Framing Nature, Gardens and Imagination. It was a really cool exhibit showing gardens' play in society from a very long time ago up to present day. And there were displays throughout the exhibition just giving brief ideas on humans' interactions and relationships with gardens and nature. And there was one that really, piqued my interest, and I'll read it for you here and then talk more about it. It was related to gardens and power. For all of their associations with beauty and creativity, gardens also reflect human beings' complex relationship with nature and with one another. Gardens throughout history show our impulse to transform and dominate our natural surroundings. No matter their scale, gardens reflect the aspirations of those who commission and design them and the resources dedicated to realizing such projects. They are sites to display one's power, making them both a stage for and a performance of status and wealth. We can see gardens as microcosms for an entire world brought under human control. These spaces express their owner's power through the variety of plants and animals brought together in one place, often a result of territorial conquest and colonial exploitation, or through the sheer amount of labor required for their upkeep. Activated further through extravagant spectacle, gardens offered an ideal backdrop for political theater. Just as luxurious art and architecture are permanent reminders of power inequities, so too are gardens ephemeral expressions of the very same concerns. Now, obviously, a lot of this sentiment is tied to grand gardens, if you think of them over in Europe or the Middle East or in Asia, of really cultivated areas that the wealthy and the powerful had the money to create and be able to benefit from. But something that I've been challenging myself to reframe my perspective is, obviously on a smaller scale, my own garden. I live in a densely populated neighborhood, and I have a relatively large size yard for the area that I live in. So I probably just shared about the garden exhibit that we went and saw in Boston a few months ago, and it really got my brain thinking about what it means to garden for me personally, not in general, but I've really been warring with this, I need to make my entire yard native versus I find joy in gardening with certain types of flowers that are not native. Yeah, I feel like it's hard to balance that. With all the stuff that's going on in the world, sometimes it feels like it's impossible to make the right decision. And there is this huge movement to start thinking about what you're planting and being intentional with it to some degree, and I think is super valuable, and I do want to try and bring that into my garden, but it feels sometimes like it's an all or nothing thing. It's you either do everything native or you're a terrible person. And I think I just kind of sit in the middle of, if it's not invasive, not detrimental to the environment around it, then I'm okay with it being there. I am trying to primarily plant native at this point moving forward. So yeah, anyways, I just feel like I get so overwhelmed watching stuff online. I spent a lot of time thinking about what I wanted this video to be, I mostly make videos just for the fun of it. I really enjoy being in my garden. I like taking pictures and videos of my garden. It's just a place that brings me a lot of joy. Being outside is really therapeutic. What I want it to be about is just the joy of going outside and being in my garden. I learn new things every year. I try different things every year. And I think my perspective of like what I want my garden to be has changed over time. I grew up in an area in a way that you gardened in a specific way, and that was kind of like my context, and I never really went outside of that. And as I've moved into different houses and different states and different environments, that's also evolved over time. And so, you know, I still hold on to some of those like old habits. And I'm trying to adjust my mindset to be more open to the idea of what nature is and what it looks like and what's quote unquote visually aesthetic, because obviously that's a big fixation of gardens, and I feel like that's an appropriate like kind of connection point to this garden exhibit that I went to in Boston of, you know, gardens were a place for humans to really try and control nature and make it look a specific way. There are these ideals that people think are, oh, a garden is not pretty unless it looks like this. That's kind of gone down through generation through generation through generation. And so it's been interesting to see my perspective shift in what I see as quote unquote pretty. I picked to live in the state because I was excited to be in the city, but also I love the landscape and the nature that is around me. Listen, you know what? Someone can love it to curate it into something else, and at the end of the day, it's fine. Okay, so I am in the process of planting 4 blueberry bushes. I've got those 2 planted, and I've got 2 more to plant. As you can see, my front yard is just mostly grass. And so the goal is to eventually get rid of all of the grass. That is a river birch. I thought river birch was native, but it's not. It's not invasive, which is good, but everything else that's going up here, I'm going to try and focus on making native where possible. So here's how everything is growing in. All of the blueberry bushes are actually looking great, and I noticed today while I was watering them that they're starting to make berries, which is really exciting to see. There were bumblebees and other bees on these bushes the whole time that they were flowering, which was really cool to see. And then the winterberry has fully grown in, which is great. I did learn this is a female plant, and you do need a female and male plant to pollinate the female plant to get the bright red berries that stay on them all winter long. So I do need to go get a male plant. And then my viburnum has been doing awesome. It's honestly, I think, already grown quite a bit since I've planted it. It looks great. I'm really excited to let this one go. My goal is to eventually let it get to tree size.